Alright, so we're back talking about some Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we're here to not talk about news for the game specifically like we usually do. I found another petition that I thought was kind of funny. I want to read over it. But before we hop into it, we finally hit 13,000 subscribers, which is awesome. It's always nice to reach another milestone. We were floating just under 13k for about a month or two now, but we finally passed it. I don't thank people enough for the support on the channel, because as always, when it comes to something like YouTube, without people watching your videos, there's nothing here. So I just don't thank people enough, but it kind of goes without saying. Like, obviously, I'm appreciative. So anyways, on to the topic of the video. So we've looked at change.org petitions before in the past regarding FF7 Remake. I don't want to give the people the spotlight, but it was the ones that were wanting like Square Enix to bring in the old original voice actors and re-record every single line of dialogue, which is obviously tedious as fuck. Those people are douchebags on Twitter. Like, pretty much anytime the Square Enix like Final Fantasy account tweets out something, like one of them hops into the replies and like links to their change.org petition. It's never going to have any effect. But we're here to look at a different one today. And this one is titled, Why the Future of FF7 Remake Scares Us. And it's got like, it's got a little over half the signatures they want right now. It's at 257 out of 500, at least as I'm recording. So we're just going to hop right into this. On April 10th, 2020, after long years of waiting, the first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake was finally launched. It is the remake of a title, the original Final Fantasy VII from 1997, thank you for telling us that, we didn't know, which meant the world for millions of people all across the globe. From the very first announcement of the game in question, a high degree of faithfulness to the original game had been promised to its fans. Although the plot was of course going to be some expanded, to make it more modern, what the hell? Palatable and complete, and Square Enix did indeed work to meet the various requests of the game's fans, rewarding them with many absolutely amazing hours of script and gameplay. Seems like you enjoyed the game. We definitely recognize that the company in question has performed a paramount job. This is beyond any reasonable doubt. There is, however, a huge, massive, monumental problem of biblical proportions. That's so ridiculous of a sentence. The ending of the first part can in fact give rise to various interpretations. Several elements seem to be not at all faithful to the original work, involving a wide amount of theories including time travels, multiple dimensions, and God knows what else. Yoshinori Kitase, the executive producer, added his opinion to the debate, stating, I can't wait to find out what kind of theories the fans will come up with after seeing how the first part of FF7R ends. We want, therefore, for Mr. Kitase and Mr. Nomura to know how a huge group of fans feels after 23 years of waiting. These fans feel betrayed, used, manipulated, and incredibly disappointed by the deliberate artistic choice and by the absolutely heinous decision taken by the game's producers. So I had to pause there for a second. For starters, this is not a huge group of fans that are upset. This petition's been up for over a month at least at this point, and they've only gotten 250 signatures. That's not a whole lot of people considering the millions of copies of this game that were sold. 250 isn't even close to 1% of a million, and this game sold multiple millions of copies. So I think y'all jumped into the deep end really quickly on this, thinking you'd have a lot more support than you did. I was going to keep going, but actually just want to finish reading this petition, and then we'll talk about it. Said decision will undoubtedly change the fate of multiple characters involved in the plot, creating new timelines or, in the worst case scenario, parallel universes and bringing dead characters back to life, something which will inevitably end up tarnishing the masterful script of the original game, a script that should have been preserved and most of all respected to the utmost. We are in no need for fan theories, and we don't need outrageous and plot twists, in the style of the Kingdom Hearts series either. Y'all need to learn how to write. Before y'all can expect anybody to take you seriously, you need to learn how to type a sentence. Through this petition, we are asking Square Enix to restore the original story either via a patch or a DLC, and to delete any possible hint towards different timelines and universes explicitly included just for the fans to pointlessly theorize about, something that a masterpiece that has transcended generations of players like Final Fantasy VII definitely doesn't need. We are also asking to restore the characters of Sephiroth and Zack to their former glory instead of destroying what has been achieved by Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, another great entry in the saga. To eliminate the Numens, the Whisperers, or whatever other element of disturbance towards what has been and should continue to be. This is something we are uncompromising about. So we absolutely had to pause there again. I don't know if we're supposed to take this petition serious anymore, because they expect Square Enix to, let me get this right, patch out the possible multiple timelines, the whispers, and all that other stuff. They expect Square Enix to patch that out, an element that is present throughout the entire game. What? Do you actually know what a video game patch is? Do you know anything about video games at all? Whoever wrote this up, whether it's one person or a group of people, are clearly in no position to be writing this, and you shouldn't write anything anymore. I thought the last petition we looked at, the one we referenced earlier in the video, was a bit of a stretch, right? Bringing in the old voice actors, having them record all the lines of dialogue again. This is worse. Like, you know how much effort would have to be put in to, like, get rid of all the new stuff they added to the game? Do you have any idea how much work and effort that would be? At all? Can you process that? As for quote-unquote restoring the former glory of Zack and Sephiroth, for one, I thought Sephiroth was fantastic in the remake. I didn't see any problem with him at all in the game. And we got, like, what, 5 seconds of Zack? What's wrong with Zack? What did they do to Zack? What's the big deal? Because he lived? Or is possibly alive in a different timeline or something? How does that destroy his former glory? Should you decide not to comply with our request, we'll cry loud on the internet. We'll make sure to launch a thorough awareness campaign directed towards the entire global gaming community in order to boycott the purchase of FF7R Part 1. That's already out, so how can y'all boycott? And any other subsequent installment of the remake of the 7th episode of the franchise. It is undoubted that you did a great job, but then, in what we are sure you considered a clever move, you decided to destroy and annihilate a masterpiece, obliterating any possible good development in the script and writing an ending that is nothing short of appalling. We do not need another Kingdom Hearts, we just want Final Fantasy VII Remake. Best regards, blah blah blah. So look, I understand people being like kind of upset by the ending. We've talked about it here on the channel. I did a video kind of explaining the ending of the game. Even my subs, some of them hate it, some of them are kind of questionable, some of them liked it or excited for the future, etc. We don't have to agree on this. I didn't have a problem with the ending, but if you hate it, hey, that's fine. So here's my point of view on this topic, okay? When it came to Remake Part 1, we did just the Midgar segment from the original game. It's pretty much the exact same, obviously more modernized and a lot more new things to do. But we still did like every beat of the Midgar segment from the original game. I'm personally excited for the future of the Remake project because we don't know what's going to happen. I like that aspect of this. I've said before multiple times in other videos that I wouldn't mind a one-to-one remake. I would buy that, I would play that. But there's a part of me that is very, very intrigued by not knowing what the hell they're going to do. With the ending, we don't know what it even means, right? We don't even know if there is multiple timelines, if Zack is alive, what the hell is even going on, what it means for the future. We defeated fate and destiny itself, the physical embodiment of it at the end of Remake Part 1. So that leaves the door open wide for the future. We don't know what's going to happen. There's part of me that is like fascinated by that, because it means we know what to expect because of the original game, but because we destroyed destiny, shit could change. And if that worries you, that bothers you, that scares you or whatever, nobody's making you buy Remake Part 2. You don't have to support this project, this series of games that's going to come out. Nobody's making you do that. I'm going to, because I'm fascinated by it, and I'm still going to get what I always wanted, which was a modern FF7. The thing is, they already got the story planned out for the Remake project, from beginning to end. They just got to fill it in with actual game content, gameplay, etc., etc. They don't know how many games there's going to be. The story's not changing, regardless of your petitions. It's not going to have any effect, and you're not going to start some game boycott revolution with 250 supporters. It's just not going to happen. It wouldn't matter if you had thousands. But anyways, my dudes, that's pretty much the video. I just thought it was kind of funny. I came across that on Twitter. As always with these, when we talk about these, I'll have it linked in the description below. At the top of the description, you can click on it, you can sign it if you want to, but I promise you, I swear to you, it will have zero effect. Either way, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't new and want to stay updated with more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. Turn on my notifications. Follow me on Twitter at @dashingdavid. Add my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.